our school kids, and it was a good program.
Well, and
Yeah,
just the fact that as
absolutely.
part of Cattle Women, you're doing the same thing. You're teaching consumers right down to the elementary kid level on how to cook beef, etc. But let's just say that I'm average Joe. I'm not a great cook. I want to buy it, but I'm intimidated by being able to cook beef. And as a mom, as a rancher, where would you suggest they start? Do they start simply with hamburger, maybe a roast? What's your recommendation there to get people more excited about cooking beef in their kitchen?
You know, ground beef is the most popular cut of beef in the world. It is so versatile. I mean, I love a good roast and I love a good ribeye steak, but ground beef, you can do so many things, whether it's your go-to spaghetti, tacos, lasagna, anything like that. But then you can spice it up and do chili and do tater tot hot dish. I've kind of in the last year kind of done more surveying of people, like, what is your go-to this meal? And lately I asked, what is your go-to chilly weather beef meal? And I got a resounding chili vote on that. I mean, I got a lot of other good information, but a lot of people are like, I love a good pot of chili. And the best part about that is you can change it up however you want. If you like jalapenos, you add that in, black beans, kidney beans, whatever. But the overall ingredient is beef, and that's wonderful. And that's the great thing. You can do whatever you want. You can add taco seasoning. You can add garlic. You can do whatever you want with ground beef to make it however you want. That's what I would recommend. Go to ground beef. There's lots of great recipes out there. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com is a great resource. They have so many recipes on there. I do that myself because I'm always looking for something new. And so that's where I would start. If anybody's, worried or they don't really know, start with some ground beef and work your way up. As far as roast, crock pot is your friend. I haven't got onto the whole pressure cooker Instapot thing yet. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that yet, but my crock pot is my friend, and I turn it on low, and you can have a beautiful roast by the time you get home for supper at night.
Well, I'll tell you what,
And
Joy, those pressure cookers are pretty handy. I've been able to cook a whole pot roast in about 4 minutes in one of those things.
That's amazing. And our district, we kind of going back a little more history on the North Dakota Cattle Women. We have, we're made up of about 5 districts, active districts in the state, and the different districts do different different activities across the state. And our District 5 gals who are in the Bismarck-Mandan area, they put on a pressure cooker class with the tax department, the North Dakota Tax Department, part of a wellness course. And they made pot roast in the pressure cooker and made a whole meal, but it was really awesome. And they, served it. They had made one before so they could serve that, and then they explained how to do it to the people who participated. And that was a great, way to get out to people and show a different way. And then they gave an Instapot as a door prize. And, yeah, a great way to get out there and show a different way, because a lot of times when we do our beef samples, a lot of our events we do beef samples, and a lot of them are ground beef because it's easy and it's affordable, and you can find lots of recipes on it. That was going back to that sweet and savory sloppy joes. We served that at the Dickinson Women's Expo this fall, and that went over so good. We ran out like super early because everybody loved it. But it was ground beef, which is great. But to do the Instapot and the pressure cooker class was pretty cool because a lot of people don't know what to do with a roast. So that was really beneficial, I feel.
Oh, great. Joy, this has been awesome. I want to thank you very much for joining us on Weather and Ag in Focus today. If anybody out there listening, they want to learn more or they want to maybe follow you and what you do, where can they reach you, either on a website or social media or anything else you'd like to plug in there?
You can check us out at ndcattlewomen.org. That is our website. You can become a member online. We take anybody who has any interest in the cattle industry. You don't have to own cows to be with us. We'll take you just as you are. And you can also find us on Instagram and on Facebook under ND Cattle Women as well. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. You can find me, Joy Serrady Kinsey, on Facebook as well. Reach out. We would love to talk. I would love to tell you more about things. If you have questions, let me know. That's the easiest way, is to go straight to the source. And if you know a local rancher, go to them, ask them questions. That's what I would recommend to anybody who's got anything about that, but I would love to answer questions if you have them too.
Well, thank you very much. And again, for joining us, Joy. We hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. When Weather and Ag in Focus returns, we got to touch on a little bit of weather. We still have to get our ag topics in there, so we'll try and make room for that. We hope you stay tuned with us. We'll be right back.
Rob Kupek and the liberal elite in St. Paul are desperate. They're trying to distract you from their extreme policies that have contributed to 40-year high inflation and record high crime rates in Minnesota. That's why Kupek's liberal Democrat allies are smearing Dan Bomer. Don't believe their dirty tricks. Dan Bomer served our country honorably in the Army and Minnesota National Guard, and he's a dedicated family man. A lifelong Moorhead resident, Dan Bomer raised his children in our community and spends time with his grandkids here. As our state senator, Dan Bomer will stop the liberal Democrats from raising our taxes and wasting our money. And he'll get tough on crime to keep our neighborhoods safe. Dan Bomer is a strong leader we can trust. This independent expenditure is paid for by Advance Minnesota Independent Expenditure Committee. It is not coordinated with or approved by any candidate, nor is any candidate responsible for it.
The big election is next week. But do you know what's at stake? Rob Schmidt does. Every night this week, he's on Newsmax talking about the real issues the big media won't. Rob shows how inflation really is killing us, as Congress does little. Then Rob looks at our border, soaring crime, the radical left, and the dangers of the woke agenda and more. All this week, Rob speaks with the candidates in the big races that will change America. Go up close with Rob in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, North Carolina, New Hampshire, and many other places. Find out who's winning. I watch Newsmax and Rob Schmidt, and you should too. Newsmax is already the hottest cable news channel in America. Millions are literally switching to Newsmax. They're turning off the bad guys for news they can trust. Watch Rob Schmidt tonight. Make the switch to Newsmax. You won't look back. Newsmax.
Mixed to lower action across commodities as the U.S. dollar is higher on Thursday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. of Jesse Allen with this closing market update. Well, a strong dollar amid rate hike fears continue to create headwinds for both stocks and for commodity prices, although some individual assets managed to firm up through the day. Wheat prices fell sharply yesterday when Russia rejoined the trade agreement, but as we got to the bottom of the range here, we found some buying strength on the day on Thursday, and that led to a little bit of support here, even amid the strong dollar being a headwind for commodities. Corn also bouncing off the bottom of recent trading ranges and actually just remaining relatively range-bound. Soy oil prices remained firm near recent highs, but that didn't help beans as they moved their way lower along with bean meal. Meantime, the protein sector, a lot of consolidation throughout cattle and hogs on the day on Thursday in rather quiet trade. December corn on Thursday down 8 1/4, 6.79 1/4. March corn 8 lower, 6.84 3/4. November beans 13 1/4 lower, 14.26 3/4. January beans 17 lower, 14.37. Bean meal December down 10.20 a ton, 4.1430. December bean oil down 32 points, 75.29. Chicago wheat December 5.5 lower, 8.40 1/2. March down 5 1/4, 8.59 3/4. Kansas City wheat December 1 higher, 9.41 1/4. Spring wheat December down 5 1/4, 9.44. March spring wheat down 4 3/4, 9.55 3/4. December hogs 7 higher, 83.37. February down 2, 87.17. Feeder cattle November 92 lower, 178. January down 57, 179.42. December live cattle 55 higher, 151.95. February down 2, 154.87. April live cattle 20 lower, 158.30. That's closing markets here on the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen reporting.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank everybody for joining us on this cloudy and chilly afternoon. Temperatures in the low 40s. And we're probably not going to move a whole lot from where we're at due to the pretty stiff northwest winds and those clouds hanging tight. Could even squeeze off a isolated shower, both rain and or a mixture of rain and snow as we head towards the evening. Most of that's going to be east of the valley into areas of Minnesota where there's going to be more moisture pulled northward. And then we're in the 40s through the weekend. I do believe by next week we'll be in the mid-50s for a short period of time. with quite a few chances for rain next week from Tuesday night onward, it looks like. So that's the best news that we've had in a while, is at least we have some rain and possibly our first accumulating snow of the season by late next week into the following weekend.
You know, one can only hope.
You want the snow.
I want the snow. I want a good old snow dump.
A nice like inch and a half of rain and then maybe half a foot of snow on top of that afterwards.
No, I need it all to fall.
You
in
need
snow.
all.
I'm talking like anything over a foot is what I want. If we could get
Just a
2
second.
feet of snow in one system, I would be such a happy
Would you
camper.
would you like me to slap him, Bridget?
All right, I'd like to vote. And just because I'm the one who drives a lot,
Right.
I want to talk to you about the ice and snow situation. We should probably do that off air. I may need to use working words.
Yeah.
Hey, I drive
There
quite
is
a
a
bit too.
You do indeed,
I
absolutely.
get to stay
And,
home
you
when
know,
it snows, though.
One of the things that you wanted to talk about today was farm and ranch safety when you're working around cattle. And an item there is good quality communication when you're working around cows, so you don't have to use those working words. There is a T-shirt out there that says, "I apologize for all the things I said while we were working cows together." So have good communication. Here's my other tip and trick. Be careful if you're doing some vaccinations and so forth. Accidental needle sticks don't just happen around humans. Do not stab yourself with the same syringe you're using on the cows. Generally, that goes badly. It does indeed happen. I have several cases that I can cite of folks where it's accidentally happened to. Usually results in an infection. Don't do that. Be careful with the needles.
I didn't even think about that.
No.
Just sharing needles with a cow. All right.
You don't actually do
I was-
that.
well, yeah, accidentally, of course. I sure hope it's not intentional, but I mean, like, I didn't even think about that. That's just a lot of bad
Yes.
things could happen from that. I could see.
Now, Bridget. Yesterday we talked to who was that yesterday from the cheese plant down
That was-
in.
That was a couple of days ago.
That
That was a couple days
Tuesday.
ago. Okay, see,
Tuesday.
I just
Lloyd
lose track of
That
days.
was Lloyd.
Well, there's a new Minnesota cheese plant that has just come online, correct?
In Zumbrota, they just completed an $87 million upgrade. They're now going to be processing their raw milk, about 1.5 million gallons a day, into their cheese production, a lot of American cheese, etc., similar to what they do down at the Valley Queen Dairy in Millbank, where they are also creating that cheese, and they're sending that off to be used by other companies, so it may appear on the shelf under somebody else's name. The Zumbrota plant is doing something similar. That's a Dairy Farmers of America plant, and with them coming online, they will also be adding to the local dairy economy and industry. They also will do powdered cheeses, like we started talking about on Tuesday. That would be the powdered cheese you'd maybe see in your Kraft macaroni and cheese.
You know, speaking of the Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I'm taking this on another tangent again. Did you try that Cheetos macaroni and cheese?
No.
It is so good. They got the original Cheeto, the flaming hot, and the jalapeno cheddar
In a mac and
in
cheese
mac
flavor.
and cheese. I think it's made by Kraft, and yeah, instead of the traditional Kraft cheese packet, it's Cheeto flavored cheese packet.
See, now, I don't know. I put
It's
Velveeta.
so good.
I put Velveeta in my mac and cheese. I
That's
don't
too
use
expensive.
I don't use the processed stuff. It's so much better.
It's so expensive.
It's so much better.
I am changing the name of this show from Weather and Ag in Focus to Cooking with Weather and Ag in Focus, because we talk about food a lot here.
Yeah,
We're
Our
foodies.
favorite things.
beer, beef, and now macaroni and cheese.
Cheese.
Okay, now I've got to go look for it because I have not seen.
You
that in
have
the,
to try it.
I have not
is
seen it in the
so
store.
Good.
I haven't seen it in the store.
I
don't
have
know.
a box. If you can't find it, I'll bring you one in tomorrow.
I don't know.
If I decide to come in.
I want Bridget to try it first and let me know how it is. I don't know.
Will do. Will do.
Well, that about does it for us here at Weather and Ag in Focus. We want to thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions you might have forgot to ask us, you can shoot us an email, weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com.
Yeah, just a quick reminder, Halloween, Mike, Jim, Kevin, Gary, Terry, come pick up your rain gauges. They're sitting in our studios.
Yeah, you got 30 days before.
No, they have like 25.
Oh, well, okay. We'll
20,
give them a
26.
little leeway. So, again, thank you for joining us. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon. Stay warm. The Jay Thomas Show coming up next.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead.